representing the UNA University and UNARepublic. We're gonna get it started. Halo, halo, halo. Yeah, UNA. Yeah, let's get this thing started. I had to fix my little TikTok background so that represents yours truly, Diva Lyri, in the house for the UNA University and UNARepublic. Halo. Yeah, welcome, my TikTok people, my YouTube people. Welcome, UNA. Yeah, all right, so welcome everybody. Glad you could be here with us today doing a session. This is our open session before my class today, which starts in about 30 minutes. So just another reference to all my people out there for who got the book. Thank you so much for your support and your love and your patience. Okay, the UNA Beginner Law Book. It is on its way. They go out this week. Of course, today is Memorial Day. For those of y'all who are celebrating it, happy Memorial Day. Okay, this is the beginner law book, the UNA Beginner Law Book. Thank you for those of y'all who have purchased it. We really do appreciate your love and support and your patience. Those are going out this week. All right, this coming week, you're going to get notification in your email. So make sure you check that. Make sure you check your spam folder to find the confirmation in there, because we're confirming everybody's address. There were so many of you who poured out your love and support for this beginner law book. Thank you so much for that. Of course, with the physical copy, you get a copy of the hierarchy of law chart. You get a copy of the universal laws chart, and you get a laminated copy of the vibratory frequency chart. These are all in the book, all right? But we want to make sure you have these so you can put them up, all right? The ebook copy of this, you can find these on unauniversity.com. You can also find the link in the bio. The ebook copy for this, all right, is $19.99. You get that on UNA University, $19.99. And then for the physical version, this is $39.99. Get these now because they are selling out. All right. We sold out of the first one. Thank you all so much for all of your support on that first batch that we did. And these were on back order. They go out this week. All right. And I thank you all so much for your support. And we hope you find that information well. I today want to go over uh, court. I want, because yesterday we went into what a traffic ticket is. All right. And in this book, it talks about uh, contracts and the fact that a traffic ticket, for example, and there's an example in this book about how a traffic ticket is a contract. And so it also is a court of law. A contract is a court of law, because a lot of you all have this idea of thinking, oh, I got to walk into a court of law. No, a contract is a court of law. So when you're uh, dealing with an agent or these policy enforcers on the side of the road, and they say, oh, you could just go and you can come to court and then you can plead your case in court. No, court is happening right there on the side of the road. You got to start understanding that, especially if you're signing contracts. I went over yesterday the four ways, four things to put on the ticket, which is a contract. If you feel, you're in fear for your life, or you feel that the cop is being overzealous and could cause harm to you, there's a way that you're supposed to sign those tickets. I went over that yesterday. Today, I want to go into and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining. Uh, Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. And thank you for following. Okay, so let's get on this thing. When you are on the side of the road, we talked about how the policy enforcer is giving you, or he's trying to contract with you. All right. And we talked about how there are laws, maxims of law that stand above all of these agents that they have to respect. This is why we go over the hierarchy of law chart. This chart right here is very important in helping you to understand where you stand. So when we're talking about the hierarchy of laws, they're up here. They're very high on this chart. And what they're basically stating is all your God-given rights. And we put those in this book. There's like 300 or something of them. But one of the main ones is that nobody can force you into a contract. And that's part of what you would put on any kind of document that the agencies or the policy enforcers are trying to force you to sign. Now, I want to get into what goes on when you get into court. All right, so when you, first of all, sign a ticket, you have agreed to the terms of their contract. Now, they're going to tell you, oh, you're not admitting guilt, or you're not, saying that you're guilty. Yeah, well, you are saying that you are going to contract when you autograph or sign that document. All right. So what happens is you have a certain amount of time to rescind the contract. In common law, I'm going back to this hierarchy of law chart. Okay. Here's your God-given rights up here. All right, you have the ability to sign them away when you contract with somebody, and that's what they're doing. When the cop meets you on the side of the road, he's participating in what we know of as contract law or common law. That's what they're participating in. So the policy enforcer is actually uh, going into contract law because he's trying to get you to sign a contract. All right, in contract law, when you sign a contract, you've made an agreement. It's if you look on here, offer plus acceptance equals contract. So they make an offer, and then you accept by signing it, and then there's that contract, which is that ticket. Now, the deal about that ticket is that it's a financial instrument that you have created. But above and beyond that, this is under contract law. Now, if you rescind it within 10 days, well, by doing that, you have to send in a contract or your own document, your own contract stating, I am not consenting to do business with you. All right. And I talked about the four ways to sign it if you feel that you have to sign it. But what happens is you got to make sure that you send in your own contract, making that initial contract null and void. Otherwise, they're going to say you contracted, and by law, by contract or common law, you will be responsible for all of the terms of the agreement in that contract that we know of as a ticket. All right. So you agreed right here, which is underneath God's laws. You turned over your God-given rights by contracting with them down here. Now, what we fail to recognize is all of the so-called laws that they say are laws are not laws. They are code, statutes, and ordinances down here. Here's contract law up here. But when you sign away your God-given rights, you're down here at this point. They're contracting with you when they give you that ticket. But when you don't respond to that ticket or make that ticket null and void within 10 days, you're down here. You have agreed to the terms of their contract. All right. So this is how we end up in court. Okay, thank you for that. Let me see, who was that? Divine, you said I was frozen. Can you what part did you miss? Let me try to go back over. Okay. So basically I was letting you know we deal with these universal laws, or these hierarchy of laws rather, because this shows you where you stand, all right, within all of these laws, universal law being the highest one that we know of. All right. Now, hierarchy of laws deal with your God-given rights. And when the agency, the policy enforcer, comes to you, they're trying to contract with you under common law, which is down here. So common law is where we sovereigns have the right to make contracts with each other in commerce. All right. However, the policy enforcer tells you that you broke a law, which in truth is not a law. It's a code, statute, and ordinance, which sits all the way down here. Here you are a sovereign up here. You're sovereign right here. Here's God's law. Here's contract law. And then they're telling you that you broke some laws, which really are code, statutes, and ordinances, which sit all the way down here. And so what happens is when you're contracting with the agent, you sign away your God-given rights. uh, what is that? White. Oh, what the something says she's cooking. All right. I hope that's a good thing. I'm cooking. I'm cooking on this information I'm trying to give you. Now, in understanding that you sign away your God-given rights when you enter a contract with these people, um, this is how you end up in court. So let's get into it and understand what's going on in court. If you answer or send in your own document to these people before or within the 10 days, then you got to understand you have made the contract null and void, and they are supposed to drop that contract because you have requested that they drop the contract. Okay? Now, if you don't know this and you end up, it's beyond the 10 days and you got to show up into court after that, really, you should be sending in your contract even if it's past 10 days. You send in your contract before court. Okay? So now, let's say you end up in court. We talked about this yesterday. We talked about jurisdiction. And you got to understand what jurisdiction means when people are saying, you hear people saying, you don't have jurisdiction over me. What does that mean? Let's be clear about what it means when we're talking about jurisdiction. All of these courts, especially if we're talking about traffic court, is not even a true court. It's not government. None of this is government. All of this is money. As I told you yesterday, that's why when you come in there, they want guilty, not guilty, no low. Which one is it? And so if you say guilty or no low, they know they get ready to get some money, so they're gonna hurry up and get you in and get you out, so they can get their money and you can get out. It's a business. It's a business. So when you walk into court, there are a couple of things going on. Yeah, part of it, it is a business, all right, whereby they want to collect their money. The other part is this is a seance. This is a spiritual seance. And some of these judges or what have you have forgotten how serious business this is when you're talking about a spiritual seance. Well, what am I talking about? And I want to thank you for the roses, JoJo, or the Rose, and everybody joining, Jam and Mr. Ochi and Chara and R. Smith. Thank you all for joining. So when you go into court and they're saying, all rise. Well, they're bringing the dead people to life. All you dead people, rise. This is a seance that you're partaking in. And when you rise, of course, you're saying you're standing as a dead being. So, because the only thing that those courts can deal with are dead entities. So let me move forward because I got to get to class. So the issue is that when you're walking into court, you got to recognize what jurisdiction is. As per the Constitution, I need y'all to understand there are many constitutions. But since they recognize a constitutions, make sure you recognize the Constitution of the United States of America or the Constitution for the United States of America. If you say the federal Constitution and you go in there trying to quote that, they're going to try to claim copyright infringement. And that's when people get locked up. That's why you've heard people say, well, such went in there and they locked him up because he said he was trying to quote for the Constitution. Yes, because the Constitution, there are several of them. And the fact is that one of them is copyrighted. And if you're not a member of their bar, which is, bar stands for British Accredited Registry. If you're not a member of their bar, then you don't have permission to quote from their copyrighted material. Okay, so if you're quoting from the Constitution for the United States of America or Constitution of the United States of America, those are two different constitutions. I'm not going into that right now. Then by the Constitution, as per the Constitution, if you have not physically injured another living human being, then no crime has been committed. So I'm going to say this again. If you have not physically harmed another living individual, then no crime has been committed. And if there is no crime that has been committed, then this court, which is really a lowered private entity, has no business with you. Even if it was a higher court, even if it was a federal court, if you have not physically harmed another living individual, then no crime has been committed. And then there is no charge that they can bring against you. Here's the other thing. They're going to say, oh, well, you broke the laws of the state of Tennessee. Okay. First of all, where's the state of Tennessee? Are they here? Is the state of Tennessee here? Because there needs to be a living being bringing a charge against me if you, this court, are claiming that I committed some kind of crime. All right. Yes, where is the injured party? Thank you, Kay. Where's the injured party? If there is no injured party, then the court does not have jurisdiction. Also, if there is not a living being, not, oh, I'm the attorney, I'm the prosecuting attorney. Well, where is your client who's claiming that I harmed them? Because if they're not in this court, as per the Constitution, you have to have that. I get the right to face whoever's claiming that I injured them or harmed them. They need to be here. Where they at? Okay. Secondly, you do not want to enter a plea. Hey, black son, I would be glad to come to your court when. Let me know. Do you have a court or do you have a court case? Which one is it? So if you are getting back to this, okay, so now we're understanding when you go into court, you do not make a plea. Why not? They're going to tell you guilty, not guilty, no. Which one is it? And you walk in there and you like, and even if you're not sure what to say, well, I'm not guilty. Soon as you said that, you have put yourself under their jurisdiction. Okay, pay attention now. These are your God-given rights up here. This is you as a sovereign right here. All right. Now, here, down here, this is where their so-called laws are. They're not even laws. They're just code, statutes, and ordinances. But when you say, I'm not guilty, you have put yourself down here as a citizen. You have put yourself under their jurisdiction. And they're going to handle you like the property that you have claimed to be by entering a plea. All right. So, one second. All right. So they're going to treat you like property down here. Okay. So you've got to make sure that when you're going in there, you're not entering a plea. All right. There are certain things that you need to know to say. This is why we go over those things in class, because you gotta be trained. You gotta know what to say. Sunset Beach in the house. Thank you for joining. Antonio's in the house. Tony in the house. Thank you for joining. Tommy says, can I DM you about my questions about the four corners around your signature? Yeah, ask the question now, Tommy. But yeah, you can DM us if I have the opportunity. I'll try to get to it today. Um, so yeah, understanding. You got to recognize that when you enter a plea, you put yourself under their jurisdiction, and you're all the way down here, standing or sitting as a citizen, and they're gonna run over you. Okay. In these courts, no, you're not going to get a fair trial. You're not, because they're not true courts. They're there for business. And if you're thinking you're going to go in and argue, I need you to understand. Remember, I said, if you don't respond after 10 days, you have acquiesced. I want you to look up the word tacit assent, TACIT, assent, ASSENT, tacit assent or tacit agreement. It means to agree without saying anything. So because you didn't respond to that ticket in 10 days after you signed it, then you have agreed to the terms of that contract. By the time you walk into court, you're already, quote unquote, guilty. You already pled guilty. So they're going to give you a trial so you can pretend like you come in, they're gonna pretend like they're gonna listen, but you're not gonna get heard, because you've already agreed to the terms of the contract. You go into court and they're gonna act like, listen, yeah, okay, these courts are crooked. They're crooked. They are crooked. You go into court and you'll ask for evidence because you think you're gonna argue before the judge. You'll ask for evidence for uh, can you show where I was speeding? Of course, you shouldn't have even pled, because they can't move forward until they have established jurisdiction. If you have said you haven't harmed a living being, and you have said they don't have jurisdiction, and you have refused to enter a plea, they're not supposed to move forward. But as crooked as they are, they will. And when they move forward, they're gonna say stuff like, you can ask a question. Did you have the evidence that I was speeding? Now, if they're convicting you of something, there must be evidence. They're not going to show no evidence. They're not going to do any of that. And so if you're not recognizing, what's going on with respect to what to do before you go into court, then you're going to end up in court, and then you're going to get railroaded. Okay, you're not going to get a true trial in there. You're not. Hate to say it. So this is why you need to know what's going on before you go in there. Even up until the point when the judge says, all right, you're guilty, sign this ticket for $500 or what have you. You still, there's still a way where you're not supposed to have to pay anything out of your pocket. This says $500. You're supposed to be able to endorse that ticket. Let me say something else before I get out of here, and then we'll add this on another segment. But when you sign a ticket, you have created a financial instrument. All right. If they're going to charge you by law, they got to give you a receipt. What is a receipt? Well, they got to give you that ticket back or something showing that they're charging you. All right. Now, that ticket you signed is money. If you signed it, it's money. Now, watch this. When you go in, you're supposed to ask for the original instrument, the original ticket, not a copy, not a digital version, but I need the original ticket. Why? Because if there is not an original ticket, then that means that this is a fraudulent court. Yeah. They're supposed to give you that ticket because that ticket is what helps you to cure your debt. Because as we have not been taught, everything is paid for, even the ticket. So you're supposed to get the opportunity to cure the debt, meaning they got to give you a receipt or the original ticket. See, what's happened is when you sign that ticket, they get ready to go cash it. I'm going to say this again. When you sign that ticket, they're going to go cash that ticket. That's why they're not going to have it in court. And if they don't have it in court, then they can't show or prove that you owe them a debt. And if you can't show and prove that I owe you a debt, then there's fraud. I don't owe you a debt. Y'all following me? All right, Godhead, let me see. Hold on. People start talking about Jesus Christ. I need to look. No, I signed my VC before I added my signature. What is VC? Be absent, showing up, saying the second you is you. Tone, no idea what that meant. Uh, Tommy, I put four corners around my signature on the ticket. Minor accident. Okay. Tacit admission, tacit assent. Uh, Nevin says, you spitting facts. Thank you, Nevin. I appreciate the love. Tommy says, I asked you, but you froze up and I didn't get the answer. Hold on. Can I DM you? Tommy, I answered that question. Hold on for a second. Somebody down here talking about Jesus Christ. He's upset. Godhead, I need you to ask me your question again before I get out of here because I don't want you to be upset. He's in all capital letters. Hold on for a second. Uh, why does it do that? All right. Let me see. Come from, okay, let me see. Yeah, Godhead, I need you to send me your question because I'm not seeing it up here. All right, Temp says I put refuse to sign instead of my signature. Is that good? Yes, that's good, Temp. If you, so let me go over this again real quick. If you put on your document under threat and coercion, any document that or contract that is has under threat and coercion or has been created whereby the one signing it is under threat and coercion, then that contract is null and void, and this includes the ticket. Godhead says it means I was forced to sign under duress. Okay, so the VC, what about it? I don't understand the question, Godhead. Ask me real quick so I can get out of here. I'm waiting just on you because I got to go into class. Uh, Ask me real quick, Godhead, so I can get out of here. You got me late. Let me see. Let me see. Who was that? Nevin. You said sign a UCC code. So UCC 1-308. However, it's best for you to put all rights reserved. That's the same thing as the UCC 1-308. It's better to say all rights reserved because you're saying it in plain English. I reserve all my God-given rights. And when you say that, you are here's the UCC codes. Let me show you what the UCC codes and why I would say put all rights reserved first. UCC codes are down here. Those are federal codes, and we respect federal codes. But guess where when you say all rights reserved, guess where that is? That's up here. Because you're talking about all your God-given rights are reserved. So when you spell it out and you say it, I'm reserving all my rights, or just all rights reserved, that's right here. So you can put all rights reserved in UCC 1-308, and that covers both of them. But if you say all rights reserved, you cover your God-given rights, which is more important than some UCC codes. All right. 10 indictment in America. No idea what that means. It's VI, not VC. And by the way, I'm not a fan of acronyms at all. Okay, if you want to put an acronym, that's fine. But put on there so that anybody who don't even know law can see under threat and coercion. Y'all putting these acronyms and whatnot. You don't know who those acronyms belong to, so you need to start spelling stuff out. All rights reserved. Under threat and coercion. Write it out. Write it out. So that anybody, even if they don't know law, they know I'm being threatened to write this darn contract. Write it out. I gotta get out of here. How can I buy a book? Go to UNARepublic.com or find the link in the bio. If you find the link in the bio, Sunset, can you help Yeru out, because to make sure they get the link. How can I buy the book? Okay, Yeru, help Yeru out so that Yeru can get the book. And okay, so make sure Yeru gets the book, gets the link, so that Yeru can get the book from UNA University. Thank you for Yeru. Yes, and Yeru is serious about that book. I saw your 10 How can I get the book? How can I get the book? The book. What is the book? And I'm out of here. UNA Beginner Law Book. Okay. Go to UNAUniversity.com or find the link in the bio. It should be working. If it's not, please send a message and we're gonna make sure you get the link. But I don't know why you're having problems, but it should be working. All right. I want y'all to know I love you. I'm out of here. I'm gonna see you all on, what is today? Monday. Oh, happy Memorial Day for those of y'all who celebrate it. Thank you all for joining me. I love you. I gotta get to class. I gotta go to class. I'm out. Peace. Bye bye. See y'all Wednesday. Bye. Yes, yes, yes. UNA. All right. We're going to go ahead and try to get started. I got to clear up some space on here. Wait a minute. One second. I got to clear up some space on my drive. All right. We're going to get started. We are getting ready to get started. Let me do it like this. All right, here we go. Recording in progress. Okay, we here. We are here. Hold on, let me turn it off. All my beautiful peoples. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Yes, 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 yes. UNA. Thank y'all for joining me on this lovely, sunny, beautiful day. Yeah. Was it sunny where y'all are? Cause it was a beautiful day. It still is. All right, who got ribs? Who got ribs? I'm on the way. Y'all didn't have no kind of, huh? Y'all didn't have any Memorial Day festivities? No potato salad? No ribs? Nah, this is it right here. This is it right here. Let's go. I'm gonna learn how to remember what I am. That's my Memorial. So listen, I don't celebrate most of these holidays, but y'all saying y'all celebrating it with me, so that's fine. And we'll do this thing together. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. So this is spring 2023 history and self mastery week number 7. We got one more week to go, and then we going into summer, the summer break. So let's get into this now. What are we talking about in history and self mastery? Things I want to go over with you today are I want to go a little bit deeper into words and the importance of how we're using them. I want to go into reflections and how people are reflecting us. And then I want to go into how energies return, because a lot of us don't really understand how these energies are coming to us. All right, so I want to go into that, and I want to give you some actual numbers that I have seen with myself. Okay, some frequencies and numbers. All right, so let's get into this thing and understand what's going on. All right, so the first thing I want to speak about. We talked about words earlier in the season and how whatever you speak is what you manifest. All right, so let me say this, and I want to speak on this one real quick because this was a big one, and I didn't want to. I want to make sure I remembered to say it. I had somebody saying to me, "Well, I spent all this money on such and such, and I spent all this money on whatever." And the thing is, y'all have to recognize that when you put money out, if you put money out with the right intent and the right energy, it will come back to you. Okay. So I talk to, especially my sisters, I talk to my sisters about how what money is like. It's just an energy. All right. And the thing about when we're dealing with money or anything really, if you put it out with the right energy, by law, it's going to come back to you. But money is like, you can think of money like a man. I don't know if I did this, spoke to you all about this analogy before, but you can think about it like you would a man. And if you in a relationship with a man and y'all wake up and you kiss him and you happy and he's happy and you, oh babe, I love you and I'm glad to be here with you or whatever. You wake up, cook him some breakfast, and he's loving it, and it's laid out a spread for him, and he goes to work. On his way to work, you kiss him. I love you, baby. Have a great day. He goes to work. His boss loves him. His co-workers love him. The clients love him. He's happy. When he gets off work, he wants to come back home. He's happy to come back home. But wake up in the morning and y'all fussing. You mad at him. You got bad words to say about him. You ask him to cook. He asked you to make you some breakfast, make him some breakfast rather, and you like, hey, you got 2 arms, 2 legs. You make your own breakfast, and if you make something, you burnt the toast. Y'all arguing and fussing on his way out the door. He gets to work. His boss is fussing at him. The co-workers can't stand him. He getting cussed out by the clients. If he comes back home, he gonna sit in the driveway for a minute. Do I want to go up? Do I want to go up in? Brothers, am I lying?
No, you tell them the truth.
That's how money is. That's how money is. It's not a difference. Y'all think just because somebody told you it was an inanimate object that is not alive and that it doesn't have any feelings, but it does. So I need y'all to understand something. When you are putting funds out, it doesn't matter who you're putting them out to or for what reason you are putting them out. Make sure you put it out with love, and then it's got to come back. This includes your bills. This includes anything you're paying for. This includes when you're giving money to somebody. When you put it out with love, and by law, it's got to come back. And then we dealing with the law of reciprocity up here. Hold on. The law of reciprocity. When we start talking about that particular law, let me see if I can it will be so kind as to pop up for me. Let me see.
Reciprocity, I haven't heard that before, unless I'm thinking that's what the word prosperous is.
Compensation. It's interchangeable. You see it right here, compensation.
Yeah.
Number 6. That is where when you put out an energy into the universe, it's going to come back in multiples.
Yeah.
It's also known as the law of reciprocity on some lists. All right.
Makes sense.
So it's important, and when I hear people saying, I spent this money on this and I spent this. No, you invested the money. That needs to be the term we're using. So, because if you want it back, invest it. And the only thing that determines whether it's an investment or if it's spent is you and your energies. That's it. All right. So I want to go over something because we're talking about putting out money or everything is an energy, by the way. Money. Everything has a currency. Money is a currency. Everything is. So if I, for example, if I go and I give out a whole bunch of water, the universe is going to see to it that I stay with water. If I give out high quality water, it's coming back. Listen, this is how it works. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna get into how I use this to manifest all kind of stuff. This law, this is one of my favorite laws. Um, so let me pull this up because I want to show you something. Um, I'm going to get into how these laws work with respect to the return. This law that we just talked about, how that return works. Okay. So let's say first of all, I want to do this. Again, we already talked about how the funds will return if you put them out with love. Sisters, I got a question. Have you ever had something that you wanted to do and the bills weren't paid, but you really wanted to do this thing? And you was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it because I gotta pay the bills. But you, instead of paying your bills, you went and you got that thing you really wanted, and then the bills some kind of way found a way to get paid. Sisters, anybody with me? Anybody know been in that situation? Okay, brothers too. Okay, now,
Every day. Every
okay,
day.
so now here's how this works. All right, and I'm not saying to go just throwing, putting your money into places instead of paying your bills, but let's understand how this works. When you go and do something with a good, and let's say it's okay, I'll use this example before. Let's say there's a woman and she's like, oh girl, Frankie Beverly coming into town, and I want to see Frankie Beverly, but them tickets cost $75, but I gotta pay my rent. But I want to go to this thing. So here's what I'm going to that Frankie Beverly and Mays concert, honey, and I'm going and I'm going to have my hair done and my girl going. I'm gonna get some new shoes. I'm getting a whole nother outfit. All right. So here's what I'm ready to do. She's gonna go buy her shoes. She gotta get her hair done. How much is hair now? $80.
Probably more than that with them long extensions.
It's in the hundreds.
Okay, I'm gonna just say $100.
Hundreds.
She got to get an outfit.
Wait, you left out the labor. The labor to the
Be quiet. Be quiet.
He right, bro.
How much is the outfit? We're gonna spend how much we gonna spend on the outfit? 175? Oh, $100?
Stand them up.
The tickets cost 70. Huh? Okay. All right, so the tickets cost 175. Or excuse me, 150 because they're $75 each. All right. Is she gonna get one for her girl? Cause honey, we going out.
Whoa.
And you say what? You say what? All right. Is that it? What else she got? She getting her hair done. She getting the outfit. She got to eat. All right. All right.
Gotta wash the car. She ain't gonna wash the car. I mean, she might.
Y'all out all out there. Okay, hold on. So now, what else she got? We're gonna say eat, parking. So we're gonna say $30 for parking and then nails. We're gonna put $70 in there for nails. All right, let's just say this is what she's spending because she's like, I'm gonna look good, honey, and she is excited. Nails cost about $30, right?
I think you should change it back to 175 because what shoes you put on?
Uh-oh.
Which one? Outfit.
Outfit. 175. 175.
All right.
You
So how much we at? Hold on for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25. All right, she's spending $5.25. Shh, shh, shh. All right, hold on, everybody. All right, so she's spending 525. All right, total for this whole experience. Now, I need y'all to understand something. She's putting this out because this is not to y'all, to a lot of people looking at this from the outside, they're looking like she's spending money.
What is she doing? She's not spending.
She's investing it in her happiness.
Oh, her habits. Okay, that makes sense.
What about that rent? That's going to bring sorrow.
But it's not. So watch this now. And I'm not, listen, I'm not saying to go spend your money on this, but I'm letting you know when you don't find ways to enjoy yourself, you hurt yourself more. Because it looks like you're spending money, but when you're willing to invest in yourself and enjoy this life,
Here we go.
all right? She put this money out, but what does the when you have this kind of energy on your money, what does the law say? I'm gonna return this many times over. Let's okay, let's just say is what this 525 times let's just say it's 5. What is that?
500.
What?
2,700.
But Diva, you talking about 2 hour show?
It doesn't matter. It's
Love.
it's the energy. So listen up. It's the energy that she's spending. She's getting rather when she does this for herself. When we're willing to do for ourselves, you will be amazed at how much money comes back because you feel better. You like, I did something for me. Did you hear people talk about how you need to do something for yourself, buy something for yourself, or what have you? It might not even be that you buy something for yourself. It might be that you say, I look good today when you see yourself in the mirror. But when you do something that you feel good about and you have now invested in yourself, in your happiness. This guy come back. That's the law. Now, can she pay her rent?
At this time,
You said she'll get it back some kind of way.
This is a return right here. This is coming back like this. I'm going to show y'all something. Can she pay? Will she be able to? She's gonna find a way to pay her rent because see what we're used to doing is, oh well, how is what a job? The job is the job gonna pay the money, and where's it coming from?
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all a question. Who has ever given somebody been somewhere like let's say you at a gas station or you at a corner and you saw somebody who needed some money and you gave them $5, $3, whatever. Who's ever done that? Anybody?
I did it a lot of times, so much.
Okay, did you ever see it? Did you ever see it come back?
Yep.
10 times. It came back 10 times.
Yep.
So am I
I've
just
seen that too.
do you think it just only works on one level?
No.
No, it's energy.
It works all around in the action. It's the energy that you are pulling to give to yourself is to give a good gesture, you know what I'm saying, upon those round about you because it is the action, it's the doing that
Okay.
you call for yourself to do.
Okay. So what I'm saying to you is that is a law. And it doesn't matter if it's on a lower level or a higher level. And I'm gonna express to you that these large corporations, they have been doing it in your face. If you're aware of like Coca-Cola, any of your large corporations, they're going to sit aside 10% of their earnings to give it away the next year in altruistic givings. This is why you have these organizations and they'll set up where they'll have a grant or whatever. They just giving funds away to the organization that they like.
Right.
Doesn't matter who you give it to, as long as you give it. It doesn't matter. They can be rich, they can be poor, they can be young or old. It doesn't matter. As long as you give it, they know the law, and they do it all the time. We have forgotten how to do that, and we have to embed that back into our way of being. Because y'all ever anybody watch this? Anybody ever hung out with Albions?
Yes.
The first thing they doing, let me buy you a beer. Let me, I got it. Am I lying? They trying to pay for everything.
That's true. Yeah.
We got to get back to where the people I hang out with. That's how we do. We don't drink, but when we go out to eat, we be like, I got it. No, I got it. No, we fighting over who gonna pay for it, cause we know when we put it out, it's coming back. We already know that. So what I'm saying to you is that when you are looking at this scenario where she spent that and she spent it because she wanted to be happy, it's coming back to her. Her rent, that's paid. It's gonna be paid. Whether it comes through her check or it comes through somebody else that's gonna send it to her, she's gonna get it back. All she gotta do is just know it. Car note, what's car note? $700, whatever kind of Mercedes car she's riding in. She got enough money to pay for that?
Expensive car.
I don't know. I don't know how much is a Mercy. I don't know. So I'm just saying to you,
That's about right. $700-800 a month. Yeah.
I'm just saying to you to check out, how this works, and make sure that when you're putting out funds, when you whatever you're paying for, make sure you do it with love. So what do I mean? When you go to pay your rent, be grateful. So we're talking about making sure we have gratitude when we writing the check. So you think, oh, I'm writing this check. It don't mean nothing. The spirits can't feel it. The spirits feel all of that. So when you're writing the check, make sure that your intention on that check is gratitude. Make sure when you hit that button for your debit card, whether it be on the internet or at somebody's facility, you know what? I'm grateful that I have the money to pay for this house, to pay for this car. I mean, because I can go pick my children up from school on time. I don't have to worry about somebody else going to do it. I got lights, I got gas, I got water, I got everything I need. I'm very comfortable. I'm very happy that I'm able to make this payment. Watch how the money, you don't have a problem. You're not going to have a problem paying your rent. It's going to change everything. I got to tell you about a scenario that I went through with a client, and it was a situation where I had we our one of my other companies, we were creating a uh, what do you call an app, a mobile app. So we were creating a mobile app for my client, and when we got to the end of the project, my team did not deliver the product in such a way that was it wasn't a good product. And so I needed to refund her money 100%, even though I had already paid my team. I was not going to have it where my company was looking like I took from her and didn't, how do you say, make her whole. So I needed to make her whole. All right. That was a situation. When you in business, you fail on some things sometimes. Sometimes everything don't go the way you plan it. But I need to make sure that I made her whole and refunded her money in total. And this was a big product and project, even though I had already paid my team. And I knew I wasn't gonna get that back. But I was like, she gonna get her money. I don't know how she gonna get it, but she's gonna get it. Now, when I let her know, I was like, we're gonna return your funds in 100%. And then I set up a plan to get it back to her. I said, I'm gonna communicate with you this, and we're gonna make sure that you get your funds back within this amount of time. Now, when I first started paying her, and I was looking at this whole thing, I was just like, this is a failure. That's in my head. It was like, this is a big failure. And I'm telling you, I had to pay a lot of money back to her because I had already paid my team out. But I was like, and my energy about it was negative. I was like, this project is a big failure. And every time I sent out money, I was like, because I'm sending out some money. Okay, let me make it clear. But what I did, I had to change my energy around the project. I need y'all to understand what I'm going into now, and I'm going to pull this back up. Okay, I had to bring in another law. And one of those laws was me changing my attitude about this whole situation. And part of that was the law of duality, where you turn a positive situation into a negative situation into a positive, because you have to find out what the positive is about what happened. So I'm looking at this whole thing like, oh, we failed, we didn't get this done. And then I had to turn it around. I was like, wait a minute, okay, what I need to do is look at her as though she was an investor, because she invested a large amount of money into my company. And because she invested it, we now have a product. Now, when I clean this product up, I can sell this product and make 10 times what she paid me. All right. She is an investor, and I'm now getting ready to pay her dividends for her investment. And when I changed my mindset, I started paying her like the universe sent me the funds to get her paid. I didn't know how I was gonna do it. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but we're gonna do it. And I say to you, this is a big project. This is a very big project for me. And so when I just changed my attitude about it, I was able to return whatever we needed to return to her with the quickness, no problems. I'm saying this to you to say, when you change your energy or attitude about something and you change it to a positive attitude, then the universe sends it back to you in multiples. And you're not going to worry about where it's coming from. It's just going to show up. So if you constantly struggling and oh my God, I got these bills and all my, and you don't know how to relax and calm down and let the universe work for you, it's your money is gonna be like that man who's sitting in the driveway waiting to come in the house. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. Anybody got any comments on that? Any questions? Any thoughts?
Is that the law of polarity?
The one dealing with the funds coming back is the law of compensation up here. And then the one where I'm changing my mindset is that law of polarity, and recognizing that everything that is negative has to have a positive. Another law that came into effect here is the law of relativity, because instead of making it a large, oh my God, I gotta, because when I changed my mindset, where I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, this is gonna take forever, I don't know, when I changed my mindset to where, no, we're gonna make this happen, I don't know how we're gonna make it happen, and I just let the universe do what it's gonna do, then it became a molehill. It was no longer a mountain, and I was able to get it back to her faster than she gave it to me, because I changed my mindset. So just going through that, does anybody else have any comments or questions? Because I want to talk about another uh, topic on this. Y'all don't have any comments on that?
Were you into this business before you started? Before you started this company?
Yes. And I still have it. Huh?
Oh,
Yeah, I still have it. So we do different projects. Um, you know, but yeah, I still have that business. But yeah, that was just a project that we did, and it just did not go well. And so it was like, okay, I need to make sure I make her whole. And I'm thank you for that question. And the reason why, because that's part of the other topic that I want to go into today. Uh, we don't if we have business with somebody, we don't want to ever leave them hanging. I don't care what. Why? Because that energy has to return. I get a lot of people who come to me about, situations that they're in with courts and all that. And what I know, and it doesn't matter what the situation is, it is all spiritual. Everything that's coming to somebody is energies. It's all spiritual. And so if you're getting some energies that are coming to you, we're going to learn how to clean things up on the spiritual side. Hold on for a second. Okay, so here's what I'm saying. Had I not taken care of her, and I'm gonna tell you this happened too, because she at some point when she was trying to she was trying to communicate with me about something, she felt like you owe me money. And if you don't give me my money back and blah blah blah. So she was upset, and that's fine. That's respected. Um, but the energies that she put out, I had to feel them. Meaning I ended up having somebody to do me the same way she felt that I did to her. I need y'all to understand something. I said this before in this class. When somebody tells you you're not responsible for how somebody else feels, do not believe that. Okay? You might listen. I need y'all to get this now. I need y'all to get this. Let me hold on. You might not have intentionally done whatever you did to upset them, but please understand and know that if you made somebody else feel a certain way, the universe is going to make sure that you feel the same way. I need y'all to understand what I'm saying, because I asked I remember Ephraim early in the season. I said, Ephraim, how did something make you feel? The reason why I was asking that question is because we don't recognize that the energies that come upon us is because of how we made somebody else feel in another time. And if you're not cognizant of how you've made somebody else feel, then the energies are going to hit you and you're not going to recognize that you caused the energies. This is why it's important. Okay, this is one of the most important parts of this class. I want y'all to recognize what I'm saying, because I have it happen to me all the time. And because I recognize the energy, then I know to step back and understand what's going on in the situation. So let me try to make it clear on what I'm saying. Let me try to make it clear on what I'm saying. I got to give you a situation, and I want y'all's comments on this. Write notes, write your questions down on this. But there was a situation, and I think I spoke about that in the class earlier this season, whereby there's this woman who's tells me she went outside of her house, and there's this guy who was across the street from her, and she says he was constantly, every time she came out the house, he was looking at her. Like he was like looking over at the house and checking her out. And she was upset about it. And she was going off. And she said that they had words and what have you. And I asked her, how did this make you feel? And she was going on. Well, you know what? I just, some people just all be in people business and stuff like that. And I don't like that. And he don't have to be in my business. And I feel like I said, no, how did it make you feel what he did? And why I was asking her how it made her feel is because I'm trying to get her to recognize where the energy came from. This is important because she's thinking that, oh, he's just a jerk. He's just a nosy neighbor, always in my business. When the truth is, he is a reflection of her. So I'm asking her, how did it make you feel? Because I'm trying to get her to understand that this is her energy. And if she wants to clean it up, she cleans it up by cleaning up who she made feel that way. So anyway, I'm trying to get her to say that because of the simple fact that we had been talking, and I would hear the things that she would say to her daughters. She would say things like, "Oh, where you going? How long you gonna be? When you coming back? Why you going down there? Who you going down there with?" All these questions. And the same way she made her daughters feel, the universe was bringing this guy in to make her feel the same energies. Now, when we start recognizing that, we can pull back. And then instead of getting angry, now we need to, okay, wait a minute, this is just an energy. How do I fix it on the spiritual side? Meaning, what she needed to do was go back and apologize to her daughters and stop asking them, or stop, being so, how do you say it, nosy and all in their business. When she stopped doing that, then he's going to go away. He don't listen. Y'all heard people say this dimension is not even real. It's just an illusion. That's part of the illusion. He was only there when somebody's in your face and they're aggravating you, or they're saying things that trigger you. They are your reflection. That's what we're talking about today. Reflection. They your reflection. So instead of because she's in this lowered vibration state. Hold on, she's in this lower vibration state where she's feeling like she's a victim. Now, cause see, people know me. Everybody know me. You can ask anybody. I don't be messing with people. I don't be in people's business. Instead of recognizing he is your reflection, ma'am. The way he made you feel is the way you make your daughters feel every time they get ready to leave the house. So she might not even be recognizing she making her daughters feel like that. And they my children, okay. But however you made them feel, that energy has to be returned to you many times over. You're going to be as angry. You're going to, whatever energies you gave to them, he going to give you 10 times that anger. That's an energy, isn't it? And that occurrence, y'all ain't getting it. Okay. Some of y'all are going, nah, Diva, because I truly am a victim. Who think they're a victim? Who wanna be the victim today? Anybody? Where you feel like something just came on you and you didn't do nothing. Okay. Y'all quiet today. Nobody? Okay. I'm just asking because some people don't get it. Go ahead, Ephraim.
I'll volunteer.
Okay. So name something that's happened that's not too personal, and you feel that you are a victim. You didn't do nothing to deserve this energy. It's just happenstance.
Uh, that's a good one, dude. I don't really have an answer for that one this year.
Okay. What about something good that's happened? Name some.
Everything is good. I through all the nonsense I got going on in my life, I met you.
Okay. Okay. So was there a time when you were asking for help? Where you said, I need help.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So the reason why I'm asking you that is because, again, you met me because you manifested me. Okay, you can't meet
I
me
agree.
if you don't request, or if you don't put out the energy to say, "Hey, I need help because I need to figure out how to get this done." When you ask for it, you have put out an energy, and then the universe is going to send it to you. All right?
Isn't that so wonderful how it works? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So so thank you. So when you asking for things and something positive, then that's what you're going to get. And then a lot of times we're not recognizing that we're asking for negative things. All right. I had an incident. Monique,
Yes, ma'am.
I got to share this incident I had with you, with the class. Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
You know, I ain't ashamed about nothing.
Okay. So this incident happened where I was on this woman's, and I get it all the time. So because I recognize that I have to step back when I get triggered by something, then I know I can see where my energies came from. Okay. So now the other day I sent out a notice to Monique, or to everybody. I sent out a notice. I was like, okay, everybody take the test. And then Monique sent back a note like, how come I need to take this test and I ain't in the class? This was for the back to basics class, because I had all my advanced students to do a refresher on it. And so it triggered me. I was like, Monique. So I called Monique. I was like, what is this? No, what is this notice you sending me? Monique was like, I didn't send a notice, but I was saying, if I'm not in the class, how come I got to take this test? And I was like, you got to take the test because it's a refresher. And she was like, well, perhaps you should have told us. It was, now I'm triggered. I'm triggered now. I'm like, okay. So we get off the phone, right? And I'm triggered. I'm like, I had to sit back. And you know what I've recognized? Monique was just bringing me an energy that I had put out somewhere else. The way Monique made me feel is the same way I made somebody else feel previous to that conversation. I'm going to tell you what happened. Probably about 4 or 5 days earlier, I had sent this woman a message on her Facebook or her YouTube. I left her a message because she got this new YouTube channel and she probably had like 10 followers. All right. She probably had like 10 followers. And I says to her on her message, I'm thinking I'm leaving her, doing a compliment or whatever. I'm like, great job on the information. It might be good if you tell us exactly what, because she said something about Michelle Monet or Monet, something about some singer Monet. And she had a song and she never did say what the song was. I was like, it would have, perhaps it would be good if you say blah blah blah. But other than that, you did a great job. So this woman writes me back. She's like, I do my show the way I want to do my show. And you don't tell me how to. So I was like, okay, I'm trying to be kind. I was like, okay, I said, it was a great show. I was just saying it would have been good if you had let us know. And she's like, I don't come on your channel telling you how to. so understand this. And so I was like, and I says to her, I said, perhaps it would have been good if you had told us what the song was that Monet did. Well, I don't come on your channel telling you how you need to do yours, and you don't come, I'm gonna do mine. So anyway, I just stopped responding. But I need y'all to understand something. Monique delivered the same energy. I had to see. No, listen to me. It don't be defensive. I'm telling you, I felt the way she felt. All you did was do what you were supposed to do. The universe said, okay, Monique, I need you to go over here and mess with Diva because Diva need to feel. You was just delivering the energy. That's it. Don't be defensive. Ain't nothing to be defensive about. I'm telling you, I felt it. I knew where it came from and I knew exactly why because I see it all the time. So all I'm saying to you is anytime you're making something happens where you cause somebody else to feel a certain way, that energy is coming back. Whether you recognize it or not. And this is what I'm saying. When somebody triggers you, be willing to step back and recognize, wait a minute, who did I make feel this way? Because I made that woman feel the same way Monique had to deliver that energy back to me. I hope y'all understand it. Monique, you can say something. Don't be defensive. I'm just telling them what the story and how I had to get those energies back. Go ahead.
I'm not being defensive.
Okay.
I just didn't say it like that. I was asking you a question and you received it the way that
I received it that way. Yeah. I received it that way.
Yeah, I wasn't delivering it that way.
I don't.
That's how you received it.
I don't think you were either. I don't think you were delivering it that way. I'm just letting you know that I had to recognize where the energy was coming or what I felt was coming from. I needed to feel what I made her feel. Yeah, are y'all following me?
I'm not really offended.
Huh?
Because I said that's why I'm not offended because even when you apologize, I was like, it's all good. I'm not offended. I wasn't offended because I know that wasn't my intention.
Right.
I'm sorry you felt that way because I did feel bad that you felt that way.
I was supposed to get it.
I'm very empathic and I really felt bad that you felt that way, but that was not my intention.
I know, but I was supposed to get that feeling though. Are you following what I'm saying? Yeah. If you didn't give it to me, somebody else was gonna give it to me. It could have been Shava or Ephraim. Somebody was gonna give me that energy because it had to come from somewhere. Because the universe is gonna send it back. I need y'all to understand that. And y'all have, if you this what I, my here's my point. when you're in a situation where somebody triggers you, you need to be willing to step back. You gotta take some time. That's why I had to call Monique back and apologize. Because the spirits were talking to me like, oh, you know where that energy came from, Diva. And so I had to call her back and apologize. But I need y'all to understand, when you get triggered, you gotta be willing to step back and recognize how you put the energy out. Does anybody have any comments or questions on that? That's important, because when we get triggered, I need to go into this. Uh, when we get triggered, when you decide to retaliate, you are putting out another energy that must come back. Are y'all following me? Because how you respond is going to determine the next energy that comes to you. So that's why, when somebody's putting out a negative energy to you, they tell you don't return it. Yeah, don't return it, because you're going to return it to them and you. So when somebody triggers you, you've got to be willing to step back and recognize where the energy comes from. So I need to go into this. We talk about where melanated people are in this game, and how melanated people are regaining their knowledge of self. They're regaining their powers. Well, we have been triggered by the Albions, or somebody has caused us to be triggered, where we think that they all trying to come down on us. When you get your powers back, what are you going to do? Are you going to step on them?
No. I got a little bit of example.
You want an example?
No, I say I have a little bit of an example.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so a few months ago, I was, I guess, a few months ago, I was put into this position at work, at the job. I am primarily a minority at my job, and didn't necessarily want the job, but I didn't say anything. I just, let it go. Well, a couple of months after taking this position, I had a Albion guy who came to me. He was just giving me lots of stress, lots of energy, sometimes, most of the time, it was negative energy. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just, just gonna let it go. It got to a point to whereas he actually threatened me. And I'm from the South. I don't take kindly to anybody threatening me. So long story short, we sat down, had a me and his, me and the superior sat down and had a conversation with this guy. And it wasn't that I was upset about the guy, what he said. I know he was upset with what he said, but I just kind of, just told him in front of everyone. Let me explain something to you. I don't take kindly to threats. There's a lot of things that I could do, but this is what I'm going to do. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I know that you need your job to take care of your family. I'm going to just let it pass. I'm going to write it down, keep it in my head, just keep on moving. All right. Fast forward to a few months. Well, this same guy, these same people that we were in this meeting with, everybody was a little wondering why I did not, uh, adhere damage or send damage to this person, because there was no real reason. I said what I had to say to the guy. I was very clear on things that my expectations, and I was done with it. Okay. So, it's all kind of, talk, chit chat, whatever, later on down the line. Okay. So Friday, I went out to a friend of mine's house and came back. Well, I have a work phone, I have a personal. So I noticed that my work phone was blinking when I get back in. This particular guy that I had this debate with, I guess you'd say, I never did. I wouldn't. I only deal with him on limited inklings. Anyway, picked the phone up and he said, "I need you to call me," blah blah blah. I said, "Oh God, here we go. Don't really feel like dealing with this clown, but okay, here we go. It's the weekend. I'm all chilling. I call him back. First thing he tells me is, "Hey man, I appreciate you, and blah 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 blah, but I got a situation." I said, "What's the situation?" He said, "I got stopped over the weekend, and I got a DWI. Those of you all that don't know, I deal with transportation. I deal with trucks and whatever." So anyway, he tells me he got a DWI. I was like, wow. I said, well, the next thing he said to me was, "Can you help me?" And I said, "What do you mean, can I help you? What are you talking about? What do you want me to do?" He said, "I need you to call whoever you need to call to see if, they can assist me in with this DWI." I'm like, okay, well, I'll call you back, blah, blah, blah. So I made some phone calls. And it's just weird that I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about this and talking about this. And it'd be easy to say, oh, well, you did what you did and you're done with it. I'm done with you. But, I'm not, even though I'm going to be without a person tomorrow, it is what it is. So now my thing is, how do I help this guy to keep my truck? I'm not going to spend my money, but it's just weird how things happen.
Oh, is that your question?
Yeah, it's weird how things happen.
All right. So, let me say this because I've been in situations, especially, with people who have DUIs or DWIs or what have you. Um, and you want to help somebody out, but at the same time, once again, this is not a happenstance incident that he was pulled over for DWI. He got some
Yeah, not the
issues
first
going
time.
on, huh?
A whole lot of, I said, yeah, it's a whole lot of issues going on. It's not
And
the first time I've mentioned anything to him about drinking and driving.
okay, so with that, if you're talking about helping him, well, here's his first thing. Why would he feel comfortable enough to come to you after he said such words to threaten you?
That part. Because I kept it at a professional level. I never did get gully with it,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
So that
And that's just
says a
the way I
lot right there.
carry myself.
That's a reflection, by the way. It's showing that he trusts you, which is a reflection of you. So that's one good thing that I can say about that. But as far as what to do with respect to helping him, um, with me, whenever I deal with people like that, I let them know I need to get your spiritual issues right first before we can even move to anything else. Because if I help you, for example, with a DWI case, and you go out there and kill somebody, well, that's on me.
Right.
You got
Right.
pulled over, and because the universe is trying to get you off the street because you're not mature enough to handle this position you're in, and you're going to hurt somebody. The universe is trying to really help you by shutting you down before you hurt somebody. Now, if I
Yes.
step in and I put my energies into it to help
Right.
you, and you are not ready for the position that I'm putting you in, oh, that energy is coming back on me. I need to go into this because you just reminded me of O.J. Simpson. All right. I bring up
Okay.
O.J. Simpson, and everybody is, oh no, they was framing him. They was trying to frame O.J. Simpson, and I'm glad he got off. Okay. All right. So O.J. Simpson, he is, and let me say this. I'm not even suggesting that he killed anybody. What I am saying is, where there's smoke, there is fire. If there's this energy coming at him, there is a reason why that energy is coming at him. Whether he killed him or not, I'm not saying whether he did or not, but by universal law, if this energy is coming at him, he did something. He's not innocent. Oh, it's plenty of black men in jail, Diva. Who didn't do that, Diva? Okay, that's not what the law say. They might not have done what they were accused of, but they did some other ish. All right, so O.J. Simpson is on trial. And here we got Johnny Cochran coming in here dancing and singing and working his magic and got him off. And then what does OJ do? OJ doing interviews and writing books talking about, well, if I did do it. Wait a minute. Why you don't sit down and be quiet? Why you don't just do that? Why would you understand? Why would you put that out? And then a year or two later, what happened? Somebody, he ended up in jail.
Everywhere he go to jail.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Here's my point. What happened to Johnny Cochran?
He died. Deceased.
Shortly thereafter. Listen to what I'm telling you.
Not too long after that, right?
Listen to what I'm saying to you. That's not happenstance. It's not happenstance that he got off for murder. Whether he did it or not, that's not the case. The deal is there was an energy trying to put him in jail. And eventually he ended up there anyway. You cannot, if the universe has an energy for you, you are going to get it. And anybody who step in the way, they're going to get an energy. So when you talking about, hold on for a second. When you talking about helping somebody, keep that in mind. This is why when it comes, listen, yeah, I can get people off for burglary and DUIs and driving site, but the universe is trying to send a message to you. That's not happenstance that you're getting those. As much as I am not a fan of policy enforcers, as much as I'm not a fan of these courts and these agencies, I know that they serve a purpose. They're not just by happenstance. They serve a purpose. Everything in your life has a reason and a purpose for being. So before I come in and jump in trying to be a Captain Saver people's, I need to recognize that they're getting an energy. And before I jump in, I need to get that spiritual side in order first. I need to make sure that you are, just like when I'm giving y'all these tools, and I've had people to go out here and use this trust and put liens on people when they're not supposed to, and do really bad things to other people. I want to know if you are spiritually aligned so that when you get these tools, you're not using them to hurt people. That's important. Because when you hurt people, then it makes me look bad. And the universe, I don't even care about these other people out here. The universe sees that. Like, oh, Diva, you gave them all those tools and they went out and hurt people. I got to give you an energy back. You got to be careful about what you're doing. So I'm not telling you not to help anybody, but I am saying this. Please note, yeah, if you help them and you help them do something that can possibly hurt other people, there's an energy for you. Okay, and when you see somebody receiving an energy, it's not happenstance. OJ and all kind of other instances where you want to help people, be careful how you help them, because that energy, when it's coming to them, it is not happenstance. The universe is purposeful about what she do. That's why when people be trying to tell me, "Oh, I'm innocent, I didn't do that," I'm like, okay, the universe has spoken. Now, other people gonna say out of their mouth whatever they want to say, but I know the universe doesn't lie. And if you understand how the universe operates, it's gonna be clear what somebody did. So you can't tell me OJ is innocent when he had this energy coming down on him and still, after getting off, ended up in jail. This is not a diss on him. I'm telling you, there's an energy. Go ahead, Samuel. Is that Samuel?
Yeah, I was gonna say he got sued also. So
yeah.
It's like double whammy.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lamont.
the moment you mentioned this, and when you said Johnny Cochran, you know, and he did in fact um, get charged by the universe, and he did be for it because he did um, be held accountable for removing the said plane, but in turn the energy came back double trouble. As we see how OJ, you know, in his position, but Johnny, you first. Since you spoke up, you chose to speak up, that is, you chose, and here you go. You won't be doing this no more because when we do this thing, and we don't think about the later um, after we did it, it is the consequence that our temple always holds. It is, man, you already said it too, mind you. If I do this, and what if it come back on? You already said it. And if you already said it, you charge yourself. That's that energy.
You don't have to say it. You don't have to say it because even if you don't, I hear what you're saying. You're saying you're speaking it into existence. But here's the issue: just like with that woman whose page I went on, and I called myself trying to give her a compliment, and she took it as though I was trying to tell her what to do. I didn't speak it into existence that that was gonna come back to me. That's just a law. If I make her feel a certain way, that energy has to come back to me. So it's not like you have to say it. I'm saying if you if you put the energy out there, it's coming. The universe is not gonna miss. If she's trying to target you, let me rephrase that. If it is the universe's intent to target you, you will be hit. So meaning if you put out some energy and the universe is sending it back, you gonna get it. Not somebody else gonna get it. No, you gonna get it. People think, okay, you got a woman and she's in a crowd of people and she gets her purse snatched. And we just, oh, people are thieves. No, see me, because I know better. Oh, that woman's a thief. That's what I see. I see a thief. Her, not the one who snatched the purse, but the woman. I'm like, oh, she did some dirt. See, everybody else is looking at her like she's a victim. But as far as I'm concerned, I know law. She's in a crowd of people. Why they snatch her purse? Because she the one that's supposed to get the energy back. And I know we look at people, we think, oh, she could never do that. She would never. Yeah, but that's not what the universe is saying. I'm always going to believe the universe. Does anybody have any comments or thoughts?
That's love. That's love.
I get it. I know this is hard, but these are the laws that those who are playing this game know. They know these laws and they know how real they are. And the fact that we don't understand them, they play us. So why am I saying this? Okay, why do we have a quote unquote government? Because y'all know what government means, right? Govern means to control. Ment means mind. All right, hold on. Govern means to control. Ment means mind. Government is control of the mind. Why we need a government? See, because we're not in control of ourselves. We're not in control of our own minds. This is why when you become a sovereign, you are a master of self, meaning you are in control of self. Now, what happens? They know that your mind is out of control. So what does that mean? They know that when you put an energy out, you get energy back. All right. They also know that an energy coming to you is an energy that you put out. They also know nothing is happenstance. Does everybody understand what happenstance means?
For a reason.
It happens for a reason. This didn't just come upon you just because bad things happen to good people. No, they know these laws. They know these are laws. Now, here's what they do to you because they need you to keep relying on them. They tell you good things or bad things happen to good people. They show you all these things on the news, these negative things. Because the minute you come into knowledge of self, you don't need a police station. Why? Hold on. You don't need a police station. Let's talk about why. Because you don't need a police station to call somebody to say, hey, somebody burglarized my house. You're not gonna need that because you don't put that energy out. It's not happening to you. You don't need a police station because you're not gonna have somebody stealing your car or stealing things from you. You're not gonna have people harming you. Why? Because you don't put those energies out. See, one of the things that we don't recognize is we'll think again, we'll think we victims because we don't understand how we put certain energies out. Some of us have stolen things and we think we got away with it. We think we got away with it. Oh, didn't nobody see me? Didn't nobody? If you saw you, somebody saw you. The universe saw you.
I can really attest to that, Diva, because before I took this class, back in my hustling days, I used to make quite a bit of money selling some stuff, and I didn't understand why I kept losing things. But I was also like, I enjoyed stealing. Like, I enjoyed taking something. I'm like, man, why do I keep losing stuff? It wasn't until I took your class, and I haven't stolen nothing in a few years since I've been taking the class, and I haven't lost anything. So it really shows like I'm really conscious of not taking nothing by accident or anything like that, because it really comes back. Because I used to be in my life like, man, how do I keep losing like money? And I was making so much money. I'm like, I keep losing something. Somebody keeps stealing something from me. I'm like, I didn't do anything, being a victim, but I'm just getting back what I put out. So I just stopped putting it out.
Facts.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Has anybody else had a situation where they lost money or somebody took money from them?
It is that when I was in my business, after I come from being an employee and took my first step out into becoming my own as an independent contractor, and right now I am even sitting on the lawsuit about it right now, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
But, this case is that I was doing this work, and I made a contract with her, and in the beginning of it, right, the broker was not being honest, so honest that she wasn't checking her own work. So I was getting all of this money, which was her cut. It was coming to me, and she came to me and asked me for it, right? Like I should return this to her willfully. But I seen my actual value, and once I got a glimpse at it, she had an assistant, and her assistant enabled the money to come to me. In fact, because she was showing me that broker was stealing from me. Okay. Later on, there was a computer glitch, and in the computer glitch, all the work that I had did for this day was a great amount, so it wasn't recorded. Yet the work was done, and the broker would not pay me for that computer glitch, even though I know I did all of this work, you know, and it's recorded partially. So I said, well, if she don't give me back the money, that'll be because the money that I got when I first started with them, it'll be what she's getting back.
Okay, so you see your energies in that, or do you?
You,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
that. You made it possible for me to see that. I'm like, yeah, that's a perfect example.
Listen.
And it's
Go ahead. Somebody else. Go ahead. Shechem.
I was just gonna add, Diva, that this stuff really does make you an oracle, because there's this guy that lives around here that'll come and ask me questions sometimes just to get a little wisdom. And he was being a victim. He was telling me how like somebody stole all his stuff and he didn't do nothing to nobody and he don't know why he happened to it. I'm just laughing and he's like, "What's funny, man?" I'm just like, "Man, it's just me and you've been stealing, bro. It's just me. You put out an energy that you was stealing something, and that's why you missed it. That's how universe work." And he didn't say nothing. And he just started to laugh. And he's like, "Man, how you know? How you know?" So I was like, "Man, that's how the universe works, you know." So we had a long conversation about how them energies come back to you, but this stuff is real.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Shechem, because it's when I tell you all I'm an oracle, I'm telling you it's only because I know these laws and I don't let people blindside me with their energies and their words. When you know these laws, you can see exactly what has happened in somebody's past. You can't tell me about what somebody else did to you without telling me what you did to somebody else in the past at a previous time. You can't. So I know if you're getting an energy, I know you put some of my energies out. Y'all follow me? This is how you can understand you. So you got to first of all see it in yourself. When you see it in yourself and you recognize, okay, I got to check myself, then you can see it in other people. You'll know who it is when they walking up to you and what they've done, and it's gonna be hard. Sometimes it's gonna be really hard for you to recognize what you're seeing because you're gonna be thinking, oh, but this person's so sweet. I can't believe they. But the universe does not lie. If they get in the energy, they put some energy out. Know it. You got to know it. And the more you know it, the more you're going to be able to see what happened in their past. Am I right, Shaka?
Yes, indeed. I couldn't unmute the computer.
It's all good. All right. So so that's again knowledge of self. When you start recognizing that, this government has to go away. They only exist because people do not have control of their own mind and their own actions. The minute people stop doing dirt to other people, they got to disappear. Let me rephrase that. The minute you,
Yeah.
because this everything starts with you. The minute you get your mind in control, where you control your own actions and you don't do dirt to other people, they got to go away. They have to go away. All right. So I want to get into this. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Like, thank you, Shechem, for sharing. Thank you, Antoine. Anybody else have any?
I'm just thankful for being able to acknowledge that, to get that message, to get that signal, to get that frequency, to feel them hurts. That's what I'm thankful for. To know that that energy is what we possess, and we are in control of it for being, of the universe.
Thank you, thank you. All right, so now, just keep that in mind, okay? That they only exist because we bring them in, and if you want them to leave, then you just have to change you, and they got to disappear. I want to go into uh frequencies, okay? Getting back to uh making sure that we're no longer let's we're saying Instead of saying spend, we're saying invest. I want to go back to that. We're using the term investing when we're talking about our funds. Now, I want to talk about how uh, what our frequency is as far as our return with the universe. Now, I've always talked about how there is a universal currency. All right. I hope y'all taking notes. I've always talked about how there is a universal currency. And how this works is that when you put out an energy, the universe holds it in what are known as Akashic records. I think it's Koshik. Has anybody ever heard of Akashic records?
Yes.
No.
All right. So what Akashic records are like, as I say, where the universe holds all of your energies in this library, if you will. All right. And so whatever energies you put out, the universe holds those uh, energies in what I would call the universal bank. All right. So that's part of your Akashic records where it's said that you can tap into somebody's Akashic records and see what has happened in their past. So, for example, I'm going to give y'all an example about uh, tapping into somebody's Akashic records. But you have to have people's permission before you do this. All right. But for example, when I told you all about for a woman who's in a relationship and she's got a lot of sons, I have an understanding of what's gone on with her in her relationship. And I can even go back into her childhood and see some things that have happened based on her children and what they're into at this time. So I can, again, knowing what I know about science, knowing what I know about the universal laws, and if I get into numerology and astrology, it's going to be crazy, which I did. But anyway, knowing what I know, I can go back and I can see, looking at her children, looking at certain other things going on in her life, what happened not only during the pregnancy at the time, but what happened in her childhood based on her children. Are y'all following me? That's kind of like Akashic records. All right. Now, so with all that being said, I'm not going into that in this session, but I want to talk about the return on investment. Okay. So you put out a universal currency, and then you got this universal bank up here that's holding your currency, and it's a part of your Akashic records. Okay, whereby it's just a library of all of the energies that you have put out. Okay, so we understand that. Now, when we're talking about a return on your investment, I need y'all to understand how these energies come back to us, whether they be good or bad. So some of us putting out bad investments where we doing negative things, we're saying negative things about people, we being disrespectful. That's in your Akashic records. That goes into your universal bank. So now let me ask you a question. If you go to the bank and you deposit $40 in it, is it reasonable for you to be expecting that you're gonna go into the bank and write a check for $600 when you didn't put before 40 in? Is that reasonable?
No.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, but then when we always have something negative to say, or we have no gratitude for what's going on in our life, and then we go and we put all this currency that's negative, and you sitting over here with a negative balance over here of negative energy. But you asking the universe, oh, universe, I need $50, and you mad because you don't get it. Will you then put any currency into your universal bank? I hope y'all follow me because I need y'all to understand that the universe, you're banking every time you put out an energy, every time you speak, every time you do something to somebody or with somebody, you're putting out a currency. And the universe is holding on to all of it inside of your Akashic records. And what you ask for when you get down here is going to determine what the universe is able to give to you. And if you are in a negative, please understand when you're asking the universe, it's going to be very difficult for the universe to find you or give it to you, rather, because you don't have any currency up here. All right. So I need y'all to understand something. Just like, okay, let me just stay on this. I want y'all to understand how when you put money out, how it comes back or how any energy comes back. All right. So normally what I found when okay, the frequency is how long. Frequency is how long something takes. Okay. So what happens is when you put something out, what is the frequency? All right. Normally, when we're talking about the frequency, we're talking about how long it takes. Normally, I've seen 7 to 10 days. Now, this is my frequency. You gotta put out things to see what your frequency is. But in most cases, it's 7 to 10 days. When you put out an energy, it's going to come back to you within 7 to 10 days. So when you at the gas station and you see somebody who needs some help with gas, or when you give some money to the people on the corner, 7 to 10 days, you're gonna get a return. Now, what is the amplitude? Amplitude is how much, how amplified that is. So normally, uh, when the universe returns, 10 times is small. It just depends on how much energy you put on it, how much love you put on it. When you give it out, or you really just you're like, okay, I'm gonna give this to you, but I don't know. When you coming back, when you're putting it out with a positive energy, the more positive the energy is, the higher the amplitude. So if you put out $1, a decent amplitude, as the Bible say, tenfold. All right, but it could be more than that depending on what your uh what your frequency is. I want to go back to this. I want y'all to take a look. I told y'all about how these large corporations, when they are putting out, when they at the end of the fiscal year, they're going to set aside 10% of their budget. Let's say they made $100 million. Okay, they made $100 million. They're going to set aside uh 10% of that, which is $10 million. Hold on, everybody follow me? I just want to make sure I'm clear. They're gonna set aside 10% of that, which is $10 million. Okay, so again, I'm telling you, these people know the law. Now, if they set aside $10 million to give away, they know this law that we're talking about, law of compensation. Okay. Now, if this is the law of compensation, I'm not saying this is their frequency, but what they do know is that this amplitude is very much real. If they set aside $10 million, they give $10 million away. What's 10 million times 10?
Billion.
What?
100 million. 100 million.
1
billion.
10 million times 10. That's 100 million.
They just doubled what they made last year. Y'all wonder why they keep getting rich? Because they know how to multiply. They know how to work with the universe.
So,
Y'all notice how giving it is in these light skinned people's some kind of way it's been pulled out of our whole way of being. And for them, that's just when I went to Argentina, those Albions down there, they were Albions. They're not like Hispanics or nothing like that. They Albions. They from Germany and all these other places where the Albions come. They are very giving. That's a part of them. You're not gonna go hungry down there. And they want to call that a poor country, but they don't act poor. They act like whenever you need something, they're gonna find a way to get it to you. That's because they have giving in their heart. That's in a part of them, their way of being. They're just very benevolent type people. And because of that, they get so these people by giving in these large corporations because they know the law, they just doubled what they did last year by giving 10% of what they earned. So they got last year 10 million or 100 million rather. And because they gave 10% of that, they get another 100 million this year. Plus whatever they made for this year. They know how to multiply using the law of compensation. Anybody got any questions or comments on that?
so they can do all the dirt they want, but they still be compensated.
If you use this law, first of all, you could do dirt. That dirt is gonna come back on you. See, we don't see the dirt that they get. You think okay, you got to come off of that energy because you feeling like a victim right now. You want to be blaming them for whatever. If they giving you dirt, what dirt did you do?
Well, I'm just saying, these companies are not, they're not angels, they're not saints.
No, they're not. But this law don't care. This law don't care who you are. It doesn't care who you are. If they do some dirt, they're gonna get it back. Now,
But they still get compensated. That's what I'm looking at.
this the law. The law doesn't care. It's not gonna be again. If you put out an energy, it's coming back. But you got to understand how they put out energies when you say they do dirt. You know what they do, and I'm glad you brought that up. They don't do the dirt themselves.
No, they don't.
They tell other people to do the dirt. And then if the other people do, okay, let's look at, for example, people in the military. And if anybody in the military, I want you to know I love you, but we're going to tell the truth right here, right now. The point is that the United States Corporation, which is putting the people or have these soldiers in the military, they go across and do whatever the military is telling them to do. And they're doing dirt, they pillaging, they robbing, they stealing. Not everybody in the military, but some of them do. And you got to understand, they not going to get their hands dirty. They going to get other people to do the dirt for them. But who does the real energy fall down on first? The people who did the act. So when people are looking at like some people in the military who come back and they can't get right, or they whatever, they went through this and they did this, and it's like the military or the United States should be looking at these people, and you got to understand that's an energy, because you can't go over there and kill up and shoot up and rob and pillage and rape and then come back to this land and think it's going to go away. That's not how it works. Are you following what I'm saying? So it's not them that's doing the dirt. They getting other people to do the dirt. They gonna get it. They gonna get it. That at some point they're gonna get it. But the people who gonna get hit the hardest are the ones who are actually doing the activity. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
So when it comes to this law right here, It doesn't care your skin color, your height, your none of that. When you use this law and you adhere to this law and your energies are of a higher vibratory frequency, because they know how to make themselves feel good when they're doing something. They know the law. It's about how you feel. Then this is what you're gonna get in return. 10% of what you've given, plus whatever you add on from this year. Is everybody following what I'm saying? Any questions? Any comments?
You explained that very well. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Sandy. Anybody have any comments or questions on that? So now, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Monique.
That's just like for us who was raised in Christianity, the Bible says God reigns on the just and the unjust, and He's no respected person. It don't matter who the person is. He reigns on both.
Yes.
If you give it, you gonna get it.
Yes. Thank you.
You just have to look at it from a different perspective when you read the Bible, because it has some gems in there.
Yeah.
It's just how you receive it and read it.
Right. Thank you, Monique. It's these universal laws are all throughout the Bible. They are all throughout the Bible. They're just written in different ways, as Monique just said. It doesn't matter who you are. If you use the law and you abide by that law, then the fun everything is going to come back to you as the law is. It doesn't just do it for some, and you want to be happy that it doesn't do it for just some. That means the law discriminates. It's not a law then. That just like that's why we're talking about being an oracle, because you know what the law is. If the law was sometimes this and sometimes that, then I couldn't tell you that I know what somebody did in a past life, or in a past time, because that means I can't trust what the universe says. But because these are laws, and I know the universe is on point the same way every time, then I know what somebody did at another time. So I want to go into this. The same way we're talking about how this law of compensation works and multiplying things, I'm going to tell you how I use this to actually manifest. So one of the things that when I was in South America, um, I give a lot. I'd find a way to give. It's a little bit more. I want to get back into it here. It's more difficult, but I found ways to just give, because in South America, you're constantly surrounded by people because of where I lived, and I did a lot of shows and events and all that. So I was constantly surrounded by people. But one of the things that I found myself doing is I would help people pay their rent. So I remember one time I did this thing where I was like, uh, because I gave so much, I got so much. And when I got a lot, I gave it back. So I remember I had this really nice place, and then I was getting ready to move out. In the place where I was staying, the landlord, she says to me, you don't need to pay this month's rent. So it was like 4,500 pesos down there. And so I was like, you sure? She's like, yeah, you don't need to pay for this month's rent. And so what I did was I took that money, that 4,500, and then I went and gave it to some of my friends, some of my people who I worked with or dealt with, and I gave it as a gift. I had like $1,000 gift certificate, $4,000 gift certificates, and a thousand peso rather gift certificates, and a 500 peso gift certificate, and I just gave it to some people, and I just let it go. So I gave out these funds, and this is to help you with your rent. This is for your rent. I just did that, and then what happened is I started getting places for free, like homes for free. That's the way that I would operate, and I knew. Look, I was just using the law. I just used the law. I'm gonna give you another one that was clear and concise. This is before the whole thing where I'd start paying people's rent. All right. But I was in a situation where I used to travel. I would tour in South America. I tour everywhere I go, and I'd have to go to these different hotels. And I was like, okay, because I had this budget. I was like, oh, I don't want to spend this much. And I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm ready to get a nice hotel. I'm gonna upgrade. I want nicer hotels, and I ain't gonna pay a lot for this nice hotel. That's what I said. And I was like, but how am I gonna do that? I need to use this law of compensation, and this is what I did. I was like, I'm going to pay for somebody's hotel tonight because I had a show at a hotel. How am I going to do it? I don't know. But I'm paying for somebody's hotel tonight because in my mind, I was like, I'm going to see if this law really works. I don't have nothing to lose. I'm going to pay for somebody's hotel. So, uh, I do the show at this hotel, and then this woman comes up and she was like, oh my God, Diva, thank you so much for your music. We just love you so much. You're so great. You're wonderful. And I was like, thank you. And I said, what room are you in? And she told me what room she was in. So I went to the front desk and I paid for her rent, her night stay there. And so once I did that, I just let it go. I was like, cool. And she's like, she came up to me and she thanked me. She's like, thank you so much for that. And blah, 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 whatever. Okay, thank you. So I went to my next city because I had a show in another city. And I went to that next city and I'm walking around, I'm looking for hotels. And I, you know, everything was booked. The last place I went to, and I asked them, I said, do you have any hotel rooms? And they was like, well, we got one left. And so he shows me the room, and I said, okay, it's not. It was very nice, much nicer than any other place I stayed. He's like, this is the last one. It cost $800, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is the last one. And then the guy says, what are you doing here? Where are you from? Because I'm dark skinned. Everybody down there in Argentina is Albion. Like it's like melanated people make up less than 1% of the population of Argentina. But he's like, where are you from? Cause you, huh?
I said, is that right?
Yeah. So he said, where are you from? I said, I told him where I'm from, North America. And he says, well, what are you doing here? And I said, I sing, I rap, I dance, I DJ. And I said, I sing, I do blues, jazz, hip hop, R&B, because that's what I was touring during music. So he says, oh, really? Well, we have a large group here. Would you be interested in doing a show for the group? And I was like, yeah, I would love to do it. And then he says, okay. Now, before that, he had told me when he said $800, he said it's for, but we'll do it for you for 400. So he cut it in half for 400. And then he says to me, how long are you staying? That's why he gave me the $400, 400 peso rate. Cause he's like, how long are you staying? I told him about 7 days. And so he asked me if I would do a show for his group. And I was like, yeah, I would love to do a show. I tell you what, I do the show and you just comp the room. Right now, I need you to understand something. What was so great about this deal is that I'm going to do something that I love to do. I got the room free. The only thing that I worry about when I was in South America is my where I live, where I eat, and my transportation, and that was it. He's taking care of my room, where I'm living. All right, my transportation, that's already been taken care of, and what I eat, they were gonna feed me. Now, on top of that, when I do the show, these people, I told you, they're very benevolent. They're gonna tip me way more than what he would have paid me to do the show in the first place. So when I say to you, I use this law of compensation, I'm telling you, when I said to that woman, I'm going to pay for your night, here I am with a whole week plus tips. I mean, big tips, just because I paid her for her room one night. So I'm saying to you, this law is very much real. I used it so often the same way. And once I recognized, okay, this law is something serious, that's why I was like, okay, I'm going to give somebody some rent money. I'm gonna make sure somebody has some place to stay, because if I make sure somebody else has a place to stay, I don't ever have to worry about a place to stay. This is when I start getting homes now. Instead of hotel rooms, I go to whole houses, and I got a whole house. And I didn't pay nowhere near what the people who live in the country pay. And I can afford to pay more, but I don't have to, because I helped other people. Look, going back up here, my universal bank, I keep it stacked so that when I ask the universe for something, I don't have to struggle. I already know it's going to be there. Anybody have any questions or comments about this? Disagreements?
Well, I do have something, but if anybody else has something before me, please.
Somebody said something. Who was it? Cynthia Willa? Who was saying? Anybody else have any comments on this?
I can say I everything that this is very true. I would say, like, a lot of times when I was younger, when people would say nasty stuff to me, I would hold it in a lot, because I realized that my energy, sometimes the energy that I was putting out was coming to me. And it's so crazy that, you say this, because it explains a lot of events that I've had. And I'm like, I'm thankful, because, like, at first I was looking at the situation like, oh, I should have went off on them. Oh, I should have went off on them. But I'm glad I did it now. I'm so thankful. I was like, yay! I did the right thing. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? Chioki? So y'all just gonna give me the crickets? Are you talking, Chioki? Okay.
See, it's what happens when you smile.
Hold on.
When you actually thinking about it, and you're thinking about saying it, even, and you smile, and it's overwhelming when you actually hear that affirmation that you did the right thing in the right said time for yourself to be of high energy and passing. You know what I'm saying, in your own world, one that you teaching yourself how to correct, you know what I'm saying, the backward of you reflection.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Lamont. All right. Did anybody else have any comments you want to share? Any thoughts? Y'all too quiet. Anybody have any resonation with this? Because I want to know if anybody has had these type of experiences. Shava, thank you for sharing that you want to share with us.
I would say this: growing up in life, I've always been told that I'm too nice, and why don't you pay people back the way they treat you? I'm not built like that. So I believe that's why I've lived such a blessed life and will continue to live a blessed life, because I believe in treating people the way I want to be treated. And I don't believe in paying people back with nasty attitudes and all that, because it gets you nowhere. And I've learned in life to just walk away from stuff and just be kind. Yes, you recognize what people do and have done, but being kind takes you a whole way further than being nasty. I mean, you can draw more bees with honey than being nasty. That's just how I kind of am built, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for that, and I don't regret who I am and who I was made to be. So I am grateful that I learned that when I was young, and I've just always been like that. But I struggled with was feeling negative about things that happened to me. So I learned not to speak negative talk anymore, and try not to be so judgmental about other people, because we're all walking our own journey and our own path, and we have to learn it. When it's time for you to wake up, you will.
Thank you,
I
Zion.
do not identify with any negativity. That's what I got out of that.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. Anybody else want to speak on this? Share anything, any way this has you have seen this work in your life?
Uh, yeah, I mean,
Thank you,
this is
Josh.
Joshua. This, when was it? Probably a year, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on like a little remolding of self, and what I really start listening to is the like, the laws of attraction, because that's when I'm trying to figure out myself, so I'm trying to read and listen to books on people that went on that journey or whatnot. And what I learned is that it like what I used to do is wake up, and as I wake every morning, I will tell myself it's gonna be a great day, a great positive and knowledgeable day. Every morning for maybe a year straight. And every day I went to work. Every day for a whole year, it felt like it was my first day. Every day that I went into work felt like my first day every day. Even to this day, I have nothing negative or anything to say about the job that I was at, but it was just such an amazing experience because I never tried anything like that, but I said, let me give something else from what I usually know of, like going and read the Bible and whatnot. But because I also came up in a church home,
Mm-hmm.
I was basically the only like the black sheep. But
Okay.
I separated myself a little bit and start trying to figure out new things. And I'm just saying, it's a amazing journey. Even to joining your class, I've been seeing a lot of what you're saying, but I didn't want to take any step until like I find somebody that I know that's telling the truth about what's really going on in this matrix.
Excellent. Well, Joshua, I appreciate you sharing. Thank you for that. Now, I want to do this before we get out of here. So, still dealing with the law of compensation. Let's say you got a $500 bill at the end of the month that you want to get to, and you kind of worried about how to get that money. And we know that this law of compensation is real. This is the same way I was telling you all about how if I know I want this kind of place, I'm going to invest it in the universe. I'm not, when I gave that money to that woman at the end of my show, I didn't look at it as though I was spending money. I looked at it as though I was investing in my universe. I was putting in universal currency so that it can be multiplied in my bank, my universal bank. So, get with that being said, let's say we working it from the opposite way. Hey, I got this $500 bill at the end of the month that I know I'm going to need to pay. What can I do to make sure I set myself up at the end of the month so I can pay this $500 bill? Well, one of the things, if I know that it's 10 times, it's tenfold whatever I put out, then what happens if I make sure I find somebody and I pay them? I'm going to say invest $50. It could be your child, it could be your friend, it could be your neighbor, it could be a stranger. As long as you do it with love and you put the right feeling on it, you can multiply that. What we get?
500.
If you don't believe it, try it. What kind of time frame we got? 7 to 10 days. What's that?
I said it come back so fast, and I do mean that's the right analogy for what I got to say. I put out $50, and 500 came back, and when it came back, I said whatever you did to get that, continue to do it.
Yes. So let's understand this. When we're talking about how this law of compensation, you'll hear some people say, "Well, you can't expect it to come back. That's not how the law works." Well, let me ask you a question. When you plant a seed, you plant a tomato seed, do you expect that in 3 months that it's gonna come back? It's gonna start growing? Anybody? Do I expect if I plant a tomato seed, can I not expect that that nature is gonna bring me back a tomato plant within 3 months with tomatoes that I can eat? Anybody?
Yes. Yes.
This is the same thing. When you plant this $50, this is a seed, or these are 50 seeds. Every dollar is a seed. You planting it into the universe, and I'm letting you know you only have to wait 30 days. You put it out the right way, you gonna get that back. Plant the seed. You don't have nothing to lose. Try it. Try it. If you have a bill that's for your car, help somebody with their car note. An elderly person. It doesn't matter who it is. Give it with love and make sure they know you love them. Because when you make them feel good about their car, remember that's an energy that has to be returned to you by law. You've made remember, just like the same way I upset that woman and that energy had to be returned. Well, when you make somebody happy and you show somebody love, that energy has to be returned. Try it. Not only is the energy going to be returned, the money is going to be returned, and it's going to be multiplied. You got nothing to lose. Remember, you are investing in your universe when you put out funds. So try it. I know it's real because I use it all the time. Anybody have any questions or comments?
I got a question.
Okay.
Okay. I'm the type of person that I'll buy, lunch, whatever else. But like when it comes back to me, I don't I have a problem with receiving it. I guess I'd rather give it back to whoever. It comes back, hey man, I was just, giving you this, da 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 da. Nah, I'm good, man. Let's go ahead and hold on to that. Or give it to somebody else or whatever. And that's what I normally do. Is that a good thing?
Yeah, okay. I wouldn't, if somebody's giving to you, allow them to give to you.